Ladies and gentlemen, let me paint a picture for you. A story you all know too well, but one with a twist they never saw coming. You see, some people go through life thinking they're invincible, untouchable. They think they can throw stones from glass houses, that karma somehow won't find them. They act with arrogance, playing mind games, taking advantage of others' kindness, exploiting the patience and understanding of those around them. But the irony of it all. Because now they're choking on that bitter pill, the taste of their own medicine, and it's delightful to watch, isn't it? They thought they could be cruel, disrespectful, dismissive, that there'd be no consequences for stringing you along, for twisting every word, every action, to make you seem like the bad guy. They wanted to control the game, so they played dirty. But now the tables have turned, and suddenly they don't like the view. The mirror's a little too close for comfort, isn't it? They thought you were fragile, easy to manipulate, a puppet on their strings. But here's the thing about people like you: you've lived through storms they wouldn't last a minute in. They thought they could break you down piece by piece, but instead, every jab, every mind game only sharpened you, made you stronger, wiser. And now they're left standing alone, drowning in their own toxic brew. You were giving, loving, loyal, and they thought that made you weak. They thought they could toy with your emotions, take advantage of your empathy, and you'd just keep coming back for more. But look who's clinging now. They wanted power over you, yet now they're haunted by the ghost of someone who was nothing but good to them. They're the ones who can't let go, who can't forget. Funny how things work out, isn't it? Oh, they loved the power trip, the thrill of having you at their mercy. They were so sure you'd never walk away, that they'd never face the consequences of their actions. But karma has a way of evening the scales, doesn't it? And now they're left with nothing but regrets, a weight too heavy to bear, and the creeping realization that they're the architect of their own downfall. They're bewildered, wondering why no one's sticking around anymore, why their charm doesn't work like it used to. They're starting to taste the emptiness they left you with, the isolation they thought was only meant for you. How sad, how terribly tragic, because they're finally realizing that they've driven away the one person who was truly in their corner. You see, they thought that forgiveness meant weakness, that your silence was submission. But you were simply giving them enough rope. They thought you were blind to their games, but you saw it all, didn't you? And in your silence, they grew bolder, thinking they had the upper hand. Now they're left grasping at straws, trying to fix the cracks in their own lives as their games backfire spectacularly. The world is a stage, and they wrote their own role, the villain, in someone else's story, only to find that villains rarely get a happy ending. They wanted you to beg, to come crawling back, to feed their ego, to make them feel important. But you chose silence. You chose peace over their chaos, and now they're left shouting into an empty void, hoping someone, anyone, will answer back. Look at them now, pacing in circles, wondering why their life feels hollow, why they can't find peace. They took joy in watching you suffer, but they're the ones waking up at night, haunted by memories they tried so hard to forget. Memories of you, the person who gave them unconditional kindness, who stood by them when no one else did. And that thought, that's a lifetime sentence. They'll meet others, of course, people who'll flatter them, who'll play along, who'll feed their ego for a while, but it won't be the same. They'll never find someone who'll care the way you did, someone who looked at them with the eyes of understanding and forgiveness. They threw away a diamond, and now find themselves surrounded by rocks, wondering where it all went wrong. They put you through hell, hoping to see you crack, but you didn't. Instead, you walked out of the flames unscathed, stronger than before, while they're still wandering, lost in their own maze of games. They laughed at your kindness, mocked your compassion, and now they're desperate for a hint of the very thing they dismissed. Isn't that ironic? And now, as they taste that bitter medicine, They're beginning to see just how much they've lost. The respect, the admiration, the loyalty, they're all gone, and they're left to chew on the ashes of what could have been. The realization that they were their own worst enemy. Oh, it's a pill too bitter to swallow. They'll keep replaying those moments, trying to figure out where it all went wrong, trying to shift the blame, to find someone else to pin it on. But deep down they know they're the ones who sabotaged something beautiful, something rare. And that knowledge will eat at them day by day, because regret is the heaviest burden of all. So let them live with it. Let them sit with that emptiness they tried so hard to give you. Let them understand truly what it means to lose someone who only ever wanted the best for them. Because now they're left with nothing but shadows, the ghosts of what could have been. You were patient, you were kind, you gave them everything. And now they're left in a world that feels cold, cruel, and unfeeling, much like they were to you. They tried to poison your heart, but instead they poisoned their own lives, and now they're the ones who can't escape the bitterness. They'll try to cover it up, hide behind smiles and empty laughter, pretending they're fine. But inside they're unraveling, torn apart by the reality they fought so hard to ignore. They thought they could keep playing the same game forever, that there'd always be someone to pick up the pieces after them. But here's the thing, they ran out of people willing to do that, and now they're left with no one but themselves to blame. It's funny, isn't it, how they're suddenly so eager to cover up the cracks they once took pride in creating. They told themselves they'd be fine without you. They convinced themselves that walking away would mean nothing, that you'd just be another chapter they could close. But life has a way of highlighting our mistakes in ways we can't avoid. Now, in every quiet moment, they're reminded of what they lost, and that ache only grows stronger. They're haunted not by your absence, but by the realization that they'll never experience your presence again. They used to see you as their safety net, a constant they could rely on while they played their games. But now they're trying to find a footing in a world they've set on fire, desperate for something real, something they dismissed when it was right in front of them. They're scrambling, clawing for stability, but nothing feels real to them anymore. That's the price of pushing away someone who gave them genuine care. They'll hear your name in passing, or catch a glimpse of something that reminds them of you, and for a moment they'll be transported back. But this time there's no going back, no way to undo the damage. They're stuck reliving those moments in fragments, pieces of a puzzle they broke with their own hands. Each memory is a reminder of the kindness they threw away, the warmth they dismissed, and it's a cold reality to face alone. Their pride kept them from apologizing, from admitting their faults when they still had a chance. But pride has a way of shrinking in the face of regret, doesn't it? Now, they'd give anything for a chance to make it right, to go back and choose differently. But life doesn't offer do-overs. They have to live with the emptiness, the silence that follows a burned bridge, and that silence speaks louder than any words ever could. They've surrounded themselves with distractions, trying to fill the void with people who only see them on the surface. But every face, every conversation feels hollow compared to what they had with you. They're finally realizing that all the games, all the power plays, none of it was worth losing someone who truly cared. And that's the hardest part of it all, knowing they did this to themselves. So let them live with it. Let them try to fill the silence, to cover up the regret. Because at the end of the day, the truth is inescapable. They lost something real, something pure, and they'll spend a lifetime haunted by what could have been. And as they walk through life, trying to pretend it doesn't hurt, they'll be reminded every single day that they had something precious, and they threw it all away. Now they're left wondering what life might have been if they'd chosen respect over ego, honesty over pride. Every single time they walk into a room full of people who don't really care, they're reminded of the one person who did. The hollowness is there, gnawing at them from the inside out, and it's a pain they can't share, a loss they can't show to the world. That's the bitter irony. They had someone who would have done anything for them, but they mistook love for something they could toss aside. They'll wear their masks, pretending to be untouched by the emptiness left in your absence. But the facade is thin, cracking under the weight of what they lost. It's written in the silent pauses, the strained laughter, the glances into space when no one's looking. Regret has a way of haunting us, of twisting itself into every moment until it's impossible to ignore. And while they try to piece together something meaningful, they'll realize they threw away their best chance. So let them face it. Let them try to pretend it doesn't matter. Because deep down they know they can't outrun the truth. They played their games, chose their path, and now they're left with nothing but memories and a reality they tried to avoid. They thought they'd find happiness elsewhere, but now they'll spend every day haunted by what they lost when they pushed you away. And that's a silence that will linger longer than they ever anticipated. They played games, they toyed with your emotions, and now they're the ones being played. That's karma for you, a reflection, a mirror held up to the darkness they tried to hide. And as they stare into that reflection, as they come face to face with who they've become, they'll finally understand you were never the weak one. They were. And now, they're living in the hell they made for you.